What's up, guys? Welcome to our first Coach's Corner video. With these videos, what we're hoping to do is give you a little bit of why we do what we do. So for today, the very first video we got is what is CrossFit? Whether you have never stepped into the gym or if you've been coming for a long time, sometimes this is a hard question to answer when people ask us, like, what is CrossFit? We think of so many things. Sometimes you might think of what you see online or on TV. That's definitely a part of it, but that's not necessarily what it looks like here in the gym. So what we use to define CrossFit is this statement: constantly varied functional movements executed at a high intensity. Lots of crazy words in there, so we're going to break this up into kind of three sections to kind of digest what this sentence even means. So the first one we got is constantly varied. This is one of the first things that I think a lot of people think about when they think of CrossFit. They're like, oh, there's these crazy guys that are up on pull-up bars, and sometimes they've got weight in their hands, and sometimes they're flipping tires or running around the building. So what we think about with constantly varied is we don't have a routine. And so we do a different focus each day for a part of our fitness. And what that means is that it's not random. So you might come in one day and we're going to run around the building. Or you might come in a different day and we're going to weight lift. Or you might come in a different day and we're going to learn how to do some body weight movements. But it's all within a focus to make sure we have a full spectrum of fitness. So the first part of that variance piece is what we call GPP, or General Physical Preparedness. So basically what this means is we're going to make sure that you hit all types of fitness, whether it's a long workout or a short workout, whether it's a fast workout or a slow workout, whether it's heavy or just body weight movements. We're going to make sure we hit a full spectrum of fitness so that it's applicable to you in your life, because we want our fitness to be able to be used outside the gym. Because if all we're ever doing is coming in and work out and we never use it outside the gym, what was the point of doing it? Our whole mission is to make sure that the gym makes your life outside the gym better. And that's where this constantly varied comes in, is making sure that we're prepared for life. And so one of the things that we're looking at with this constantly varied is that we want to make sure that we are being prepared for life in kind of three aspects. We look at cardio. So that's things like running, or our members like rowing, or they love the bike. We also strength train, and so I'm thinking more weightlifting when I'm referring to this. So we build our strength through different types of weightlifting, whether it's picking something off the ground, learning how to press things overhead. And then the last one that we also work is body weight movements. These are all super important for cardiovascular health, for being able to move external objects, and then being competent in moving your own body is super important, especially as we start to age. People who are competently being able to move their body are less risk to fall and injure themselves. So that's our constantly varied piece, making sure we're always mixing it up to make sure we're hitting all those areas of fitness. The second one we've got is functional movements. So what the heck are functional movements? So there's a bunch of different ways that we can break down functional movements, but the ways that we like to talk about it is that functional movements are natural. So they look like things that you would see outside. So it might look like picking up a bag of dog food, or it might look like carrying the groceries, or it might look like tossing your baby up in the air, or pushing them on a swing. It looks like things that we would do outside the gym. And because they're things that we do outside the gym, that also makes them safe. So despite what you might see some crazy people do on the internet, we make sure that all of our movements that we do are safe. And that goes along with making sure that we learn how to do it right before we try to do any sort of load or any sort of intensity, which we'll talk about here in a minute. The other thing that we talk about is that they're natural, safe, and that they're full body. So we use our full body for these functional movements. So when you lift something off the ground, you're using your full body. When you're pressing something overhead, you're using your full body. When you run, we use our full body. And so those are some three really key components. And the most important one is actually that they're efficient. So all of these things allow us to what we call as move large loads quickly. So when you're outside in the wild in life and you want to get something done, these functional movements are going to allow you to do that the most efficiently. Back to being able to pick up the dog food safely and efficiently, because there's all kinds of crazy ways we can do it, but what's the best way? And that's what we aim to do with these functional movements, to show you the best way. The third aspect we got constantly varied functional movements, and the last one is high intensity. And this one is a big buzzword, and this is one that gets mixed up a lot, especially with our program, is high intensity, and we can misconstrue that. So first thing, high intensity, what I want to get out of the way is it is not max effort. That is a big one. It is not 100% max effort. That comes up every once in a while. We want to see, what's our limit? How fast can we run? But 95, 99% of our training is not in this maximal effort. That's once in a blue moon, like a couple times a year. But the training is done at something that's sub-maximal effort. And so the way I like to describe that to our members, and I'm sure they've heard me say this, is it should be tough but doable. That's a D. Tough but doable. So there's this sweet spot of where it's difficult for you, but you can get it done. And that's really where we're going to get the most of our results. Because if we don't push ourselves very hard, we're never going to be able to progress. And if we're only ever going as hard as we can, we're not going to be able to get progress in the same way. So another way that we think about our intensity is relative. So we all want our workouts to be that tough but doable is very different for those elite athletes that you see at the CrossFit Games online. Or it's very different for me, who's been doing this for a few years, and it's going to be very different for my 70-year-old grandpa who does CrossFit. Intensity is different for all of us, but we all find that sweet spot of what's tough for me and allows me to keep doing that workout. And so we spend a lot of time focusing on just these two statements, that it's tough but doable for you. And that's the heart of our program. So the last thing that we talk about with intensity is we follow this creed of mechanics, consistency, and then intensity. So when we're ever learning a new movement, whether it's somebody who just walked in the door that doesn't know how to squat, or if we're introducing you to a new movement in class, we follow this path to ensure that we're getting our results and we're doing it in a safe way. And so mechanics means like I'm still learning how to do this movement, and I want to make sure that I'm moving well. And once I start moving well, then I want to look at, well, can I move well for multiple reps? Because if I can do it once, great. But can I do it over and over again? And so then once we start moving well consistently, then we can talk about, okay, how do we move well faster? How do we move well heavier? How do we move well longer? And so by following this, we're able to stay safe, get the results that we want, and get a really good workout. So that's the overall what is CrossFit. We've got constantly varied functional movements at a high intensity, all with the aim of allowing you to live life better outside the gym, improve your life so that when we come across things that happen in life, we're able to do it, we're able to respond to emergencies, and most importantly, we're able to go on adventures with our family. So I look forward to having more Coaches Corners with you. Let us know if you liked this, and we'll see you soon.